Welcome everyone on the channel Thomas Retells, and today we will take a look at the story of 2019 black comedy called The Art of Self-Defense. Let's go. The main character is Casey Davis, a 35-year-old accountant who is a humble and an insecure man. He is not friends with anyone at work, but at home he learns French and spends time with his dog. After staying at work late, Casey found his co-worker's magazine with intimate photos of women, and he made a complete copy for himself. Upon returning to his lair, Davis realizes he has no food left. On the way to the store, motorcyclists passing by ask if he has a gun and then flee. But on the way home, Casey realizes that he is being tailed. Trying to escape, they throw him to the ground and start beating him, without even giving him a payoff. Casey is discharged from the hospital. The boss gives Casey a day off due to his injury. The dog's food is running low again, but Davis is wary of going out in the evening. He gives the dog some of his food and considers buying a gun. In the afternoon, he is already picking out his revolver, but he can't buy it without checking. On the way home, Casey stumbles upon a karate school where the students inside are practicing their kicks. After waiting for the end of classes, the main character meets Sensei and signs up for a trial lesson. Davis comes to the gym again tomorrow, but instead of Sensei, Anna, the children's trainer, is there. She gives him everything he needs and he goes to the locker room. There he meets Henry, a karate fighter who teaches him how to tie his belt. In class, everyone divides into pairs and practices kicking. Casey's opponent is called Kenny. He punches the hero into the stomach, causing him to fall. Noticing this, the coach reprimands Kenny and then holds out his hand to Davis. Kenny apologizes to Casey and they continue training. Davis realized he wanted to do karate. When asked by his sensei, "Why do you want to do it?" he answers that he wants to be healthy and athletic without telling the real reason. At home, Casey puts on his kimono and begins practicing his stance. That's when the gun store calls him, but Davis refuses their services. For 2 months, Casey has been out of work and doing nothing but training. Predictably, his boss calls and says if he doesn't go back to work, he is fired. Henry tells Casey about alternative training at night, but only black belt fighters are allowed in. Everyone gathers for the belt presentation, but unfortunately, Casey gets the yellow belt. Sensei praises him for his efforts. The ceremony comes to an end when suddenly Henry asks Sensei, "Did you happen to forget to award someone a black belt?" implying himself. The coach agrees with the thought and gives the belt to another student, Thomas. Anna is upset because she wanted it too. Casey shops for groceries and walks to his car. While he's putting his purchases away, a pickup truck parks next to him. The driver bumps his car with the door as he exits. Casey makes a remark and says he is a karate kid, but the driver threatens him, pushes him, and his groceries fall apart. On the way home, Davis cries because he is weak. In the class alone, he can break the board with his hand, causing the coach to question his right to wear the yellow belt. The main character is ready to give up his belt, but Sensei calls him into his office. After talking openly, Casey tells him that he took up karate so he wouldn't get beaten up anymore. Sensei advises him to change drastically, listen to loud music, change his communication style, and learn the language of strong people, the Germans. As an exception, the teacher calls Davis in for a night class, saying that the class will take away his fears. Now Casey lives by Sensei's precepts, drinking bitter coffee instead of sweet juice, listening to metal, not petting the dog, and learning German while looking at nude pictures of women. Beats up the boss over nothing, scares co-workers, and finally attends at night class. At the event, Henry shows up uninvited. The coach calls him in and breaks his arm, telling him he can't be here anymore. Practice begins, sparring much harder than the day's lessons. Anna's fight with Thomas was the center of attention. She beat her opponent even then he was already unconscious. Davis shows Sensei the yellow belt, the symbol of his belt, and brings a whole box of different belts as a gift, as a token of gratitude. Casey says he was fired as Sensei immediately hires him to be his accountant. At home, Sensei tells the protagonist over the phone that he figured out the bully who beat him up. They immediately meet and the mentor points the finger at the perpetrator. The coach pits Casey against the bully and the bully hits his head on the pavement. Sensei filmed all the events, saying it was necessary to track the growth of his student. When Sensei leaves, the realization comes to Davis that he beat the wrong guy. The trainer lied to him. At home, Casey finds the corpse of his dog. He quickly takes it to the hospital, but the doctors are powerless. The doctors say that her body showed signs of a beating. Casey is already in the gym tomorrow, accusing the trainer of killing the dog, but the trainer denies everything, saying that they were together all day. The man attacks the sensei, but he defeats him with one hand. Doing the accounting in the coach's office, he apologizes to him, saying he couldn't keep his cool at the time. That same day, the teacher calls the students to the garage where Casey sees helmets and motorcycles for everyone present. Davis tries to talk his way out of the trip, realizing that his main enemy all along has been his lies. But Anna informs him that he has no other choice. When splitting into pairs, he rides with Anna, sitting down with her, and she says he got into it for nothing. If he doesn't hit people, Sensei will kill him. Along the road, a guy walks. Casey says he can't just attack the man, and Anna takes the initiate. The man pulls out a gun and says he is a cop, demanding Anna to show her face. The gun unintentionally shoots right into Anna's leg. Davis runs to the cop when he apologizes, saying it was an accident, and asks Casey to put his hands up. The man lets the protagonist pass to him. Casey snatches his weapon from him and beats him. The coach and the other students saw it all from the sidelines. When they heard the sound of police sirens, they quickly drove away, leaving the cop on the pavement to live out his last seconds. At the base, Sensei wears the hero with a red stripe on his belt, telling him that he has taken a life. Davis offers to give the wounded Anna a ride home. On the way, he wonders how Anna got the same streak. She once killed one of her students. As they say goodbye, she advises Casey not to go back to training. At home, Casey finds a German Shepherd dog and letter from Sensei saying, "Be an alpha or you'll get mauled by a dog." Davis leaves the house and goes to the direction of the gym. There he passes into a locker room with a pile of equipment with tapes. On the tape with his name on it is a scene where he is beaten unconscious by Thomas. He was already ready to kill the main character, but Anna stopped him by saying she could hear the sounds of the police. Then they drive away. Before the hall opens, Sensei finds Henry hanging himself in the hall. He takes the corpse to the furnace and burns it there. Sensei is seated next to a portrait of Great Master when Davis enters the room and speaks of his intention to kill him. Casey tells the trainer's real name. He, confident to his victory, agrees to the fight. Sensei prepares to attack the mat, but our hero takes out his gun and shoots him right into the head with lightning speed. At the corpse, Casey gives a speech from some movie and pokes his fighter in Sensei's blood. Then Casey reported to all his students that he had defeated his teacher in a fair fight by using their master's trick. He stabbed his opponent's head with one finger. He suggested that anyone who didn't believe him should try it on them, but no one was willing. Casey asked the students to extend their arms forward. Thomas' hand had the marks of a dog teeth on it. That's how we found out who killed Casey's dog. He calls the sheepdog to him, who obeys all his commands and pits her against Thomas. The dog chews the guy to death. Davis awards Anna with a black belt, and now she is the boss here. This is the end. What do you think of the movie The Art of Self-Defense? Share your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching and see you later.